Hello, hello, Lili Loves here, and welcome back to my channel. Unless this is your first time here, which, I mean, you're totally appreciated and welcome to my channel, but this is part 2 of my 2023 Eurovision Iceberg Explained series, and you've missed part 1. If you have, don't worry, I went ahead and put it in the cards, so go ahead and check that out. You know, you watch it first, come back and watch this one, stick around and watch this one. First, doesn't really matter, just know that we're on tier 2, and I'll put a link in the description box too, just in case you're on mobile and can't access the cards. If you are a returnee, then yes, this is the second part of the Iceberg series and longer than part 1 was. Like in the previous part, I have the icebergs used to make the video in the description box, along with a link to a doc that has all my sources in it. Okay, so that's all the housekeeping out of the way. Let's go ahead and hop into the actual video then. Vidbir and a Kyiv metro. Our national final season kicked off in mid-December with Ukraine's Vidbir this year. Due to the ongoing war, this year's Vidbir had to be held inside of a metro station in Kyiv that also acted as a bomb shelter. The stage was small, you could only really tell that this was being held in a train station rather than a studio, when, during the commentary in between songs, you would hear a train go by. Listen carefully to this clip.
Музику, артисти різнопланові були. От в мене запитання, чим ваш поп-рок?
I do commend the broadcaster for putting on such an excellent show, given the unfortunate and unprecedented circumstances. Artists announced before host country. Ah yes, the announcement that prompted me to start working on this iceberg last summer. So, this was the very first entry on my Photoshop file. On July 11th, Khan woke up the dormant Eurovision fans with the announcement that they had selected certified Israeli pop superstar Noah Carell to represent Israel at Eurovision. This is one of the earliest times we've had an artist announced in the history of Eurovision. The 2021 wave of confirmations that they're going to be sending the same artist from 2022, along with Germany's announcement they would be sending Lena again in 2011, and one of the years that Sanremo was going to be sending Valentina Moneta. Again, I'll have this one beat, but there's not a lot. However, this announcement was tossed up in the air when a couple of days later, Noah Carell stated that she didn't even know Khan was thinking about having her represent Israel at Eurovision in 2023. It was then confirmed on August 10th at a press conference that yes, she would 100% be going to Eurovision.
I'm really excited to represent Israel in the Eurovision. It's a big honor for me. It's the biggest stage in the world, and it's a big opportunity for me, and I'm really excited to do that and to represent my country. Yeah, it's exciting.
You all watched the show and saw that she ultimately placed 3rd with the pop song Unicorn. Monaco delays broadcaster. On November 22nd, 2022, Les Habitants de Monaco reported that the Principality of Monaco has set aside funds to budget returning to Eurovision in 2023 after a 16-year hiatus. The participating broadcaster would be Monaco TV, but the launch of the broadcaster was pushed back from late 2022 to September 1st, 2023. It was then later announced that Monaco would therefore not be returning to Eurovision for 2022, but we all of course have our fingers crossed that they will be back in 2024. And just to insert a fun little conspiratorial thought, the Eurovision New Year is September 1st, as songs released after September 1st are eligible to compete in the next edition of Eurovision. That's the same day that Monaco TV is set to launch. Could it be that they're going to launch and then announce they're going to be back at Eurovision the same day to get people hyped up? We'll see. Again, that's just my little pet theory. Australia's last year. In 2015, Australia was invited to Eurovision, what was supposed to be a one-off situation to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the contest. That being said, it clearly wasn't a one-off because they've returned every year since and have had a pretty decent track record. It was up until 2018 that Australia being back the following year was on a year-by-year basis with the EBU. They were given permission, though, to come back until 2023, this year. That way, national finals could be planned and that a more long-term, organization of what Australia will be bringing every year could be set. That agreement has now expired, so we will have to wait and see if the invitation will be extended again. Many fans agree on a speculation that Australia will be back for 2024 and beyond, but we'll have to wait for a confirmation from SBS and the EBU. Mariupol as host city. Shortly after Kalush Orchestra won in 2022 in a speech congratulating them on their Eurovision victory, President Zelensky said that Mariupol would host the song contest in 2023. This is while the city was still under siege from Russia. While the city did not go on to host Eurovision, the siege was part of what had inspired Andre from Voce to start writing their song Heart of Steel.
For us, important to represent our country the best possible way, and we hope our song can inspire people all around the planet to be stronger, and no matter how bad it is, just hold a good attitude and move forward with a smile.
Their song, Heart of Steel, is a message of defiance inspired by Ukrainian soldiers who fought to defend the besieged city of Mariupol.
Ukraine doesn't want to win. This is what it says it is. It's just fan speculation that Ukraine did not want to win Eurovision in 2023. It started shortly after Voce won Vidbir and honestly came off as people being salty that their favorite song did not win the national final. Festivali Këngës, voting changes. Festivali Këngës is an Albanian music and cultural festival that was inspired by Italy's Sanremo, like Eurovision was too. Typically, it is held around Christmas and is traditionally how the Albanian Eurovision entry is selected. Normally, a jury would decide who the winner is to go on to represent the country at Eurovision, but in recent years, the organizers have been playing around with the format. For this year's 61st edition, there were two winners, a jury winner who won Festivali Këngës. This was Lili, and we will talk more about her in particular in a later tier. So why don't you go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss that one. And the televote winner. The televote winner would go on to represent Albania at Eurovision. This was Albina and Familia Kalindi. Festivali Këngës televote winner announcement. Okay, so this is on here mostly because it just made me smile so much. I'm like, we can't not honor this wonderful moment. The way that the televote winner was announced at Festivali Këngës this year was that a picture was shown on a screen on the stadium next to the theater where FIC is held. Honestly, it was so iconic, and I feel like more national finals need moments like this. I know organizers like to play around with things a lot for Festivali Këngës, but come on, guys, please keep that. Unser for Liverpool. Germany brought back their national final Unser for the changes depending on who's hosting. Sometimes it's the city, sometimes it's the country. We just go. Anyways, the lineup was actually pretty solid, and most of the songs were pretty good. We'll talk more about one of them in a moment. That was a whole situation, but let's just focus on the positive right now. We of course got Blood and Glitter by Lord of the Lost, and they are an established act who brought the title track off their latest and #1 best-selling album. There was a dance duo Frida Gold, even though their vocalist was ill and they didn't compete. Trong, winner of season 6 of Vietnam Idol, and also a pretty established V-pop act. Renee Miller, an established songwriter with a number of hits under his belt. Patty Gertie, an artist with an interesting instrument, who was a fan favorite, and she has written a number of songs for TV shows. Germany had a pretty solid lineup this year for Unser for Liverpool. And you know what? They chose the song I would have selected as well from who got to perform live. So, you know what? It was a good national final for them. And they didn't deserve to come last. They didn't. I'm not going to lie. They did not deserve to come last this year. I gave them votes. Ikke Hüftgold. So, we had a wildcard artist thing from TikTok this year with Unser for Liverpool. The wildcard artist from TikTok that won the wildcard artist TikTok round for Unser for Liverpool was Ikke Hüftgold. Basically, this is a comedic character, and his song was called Lied mit gutem Text, which translates to song with good lyrics into English. The song was in the party schlager genre, basically music that fuels drunken German vacations. And guys, it sounds so German, like I hear it, I'm seeing socks and sandals, I'm seeing a fanny pack around someone's waist, I'm seeing my uncle counting exact change to pay the cashier with. Whole 9 yards there. The song is literally just a joke song about a song with good lyrics. Honestly, you know what? I would say it has a good use for testing your knowledge of German vocabulary. Subwoolfer Reveal. During the final Melodi Grand Prix in Norway, Subwoolfer, the Norwegian Eurovision act from 2022, demasked and revealed themselves to be Ben Adams and Gaute Olmesen. People had figured this out prior to their competing at Eurovision last year, but it was nice to have a confirmation. Slenderman at Melodi Grand Prix. National finals are no stranger to some odd staging choices. At MGP though, Sandra Long's staging featured a pretty familiar looking figure lurking in the background. Sping it like Harry Potter. A lyric from the song No Business on the Dance Floor by Kira that was competing at UMK this year. The line was kind of silly, not sure what exactly is meant by it, but due to it referencing a YA book series as main character, and the fact that the writer of that series is a controversial figure now, there was some concern expressed in a now deleted Reddit post that Kira may share the same bigoted views as that author. Loreen's stage invasion. During her first run of Tattoo at the 4th semi-final of Melodi Festivalen, a stage invader hopped up on the stage during her performance. He was an environmental protester and had gotten up on the stage holding up a banner, which, number one, I know why he selected Tattoo to do this at. It's because it was kind of like the most anticipated song of the whole Melodi Festivalen season, and it was the last performed song of the Melodi Festivalen season as well. But like, dude, the stage was completely dark and there was a bunch of fog and like the camera was super close in on her. It just, no one could read the banner. I would love to know what it says. If anyone has a link to what the banner looked like, within light, please post it. Please share it. But yeah, he was of course escorted away from the stage by security swiftly. Loreen handled the intrusion like an absolute pro, and she was even able to joke about it. Of course, she qualified, and she won Eurovision a second time. We've gone over this in part 1. Sober. Laurel Barker is a name that Eurovision fans who pay attention to songwriting credits will know. Songs of hers that have made it to the Eurovision stage include Sister, She Got Me, Bigger Than Us, and El Diablo. Also, my personal favorite of this, Stones, I'm Sorry, Switzerland Was Robbed. Zibs should have qualified. They absolutely should have. I will die on that hill. Again, 2018. Side note, 2018 semi-final 1 is more intense than like the final that year. 100%, like way more intense. Anyways, she's also written a number of songs that have competed at national finals, like All the Feels and Tempo and Brave from Melodi Festivalen, and some Melodi Grand Prix favorites too, like Wild and Hero, both by Rayleigh. This year, she competed as an artist at Melodi Festivalen for the first time with her own song, Sober. The presentation was bright and colorful, and the song was about what it feels like at the beginning stages of falling in love with someone. Bad Philosophy, Elise's entry from the 2023 edition of Este Lau. It's just one of those pop songs that, like, has nothing revolutionary about it, but low-key feels like it's the best pop song you've ever heard in, like, ever. The staging and performance were both the definition of Go Girl, Give Us Nothing. Truly, like, yeah, it was all the right elements to be what I consider an iconic disaster bop. Unicorn Vibes. This is Marilyn's entry from Este Lau 2023, and I'm just going to play the clip and let it speak for itself. You understand why it's on this. 106 songs from Una Voce per San Marino. Eurovision's smallest participating member had one of the biggest national selections with Una Voce per San Marino. The contest had 106 songs participating in the semifinals and took place over several nights, several weeks. Ronela for Una Voce per San Marino. Ronela Hajiti, who represented Albania at Eurovision in 2022, competed at Una Voce per San Marino with the song Sawayama. It was certainly a Ronela Hajiti performance. Eiffel 65 for Una Voce per San Marino, the Italian dance group that had a one-hit wonder back in the late 90s with Blue. It was also a band in my suburban American classroom, but, you know, whatever. Also competed at the San Marinese national final with their song Movie Star. Qualification format changes. This didn't actually happen, but guys, I had accreditation from EurovisionFam.com. Check out EurovisionFam.com, by the way, along with our YouTube channel at EurovisionFam and Twitter as well. Same username and TikTok. I'll have links below. Don't worry, and I have a link in the card for our YouTube channel there. Anyways, the original idea for the qualifiers out of the semifinals this year was to have all the acts on stage. Kind of like X Factor, how they announce the winner or who's leaving the show. Basically, the first 5 acts who qualified would be announced, step off stage to talk to Alicia, and they would go ahead and go, hey, how do you feel about qualifying? Everyone would give their answer, and then it would go back to the stage where the next 5 qualifiers would be announced as well. So basically, instead of having everyone in the green room sitting in their respective chairs, it was everyone on stage at once, waiting to be called, then be off stage. Once the second set of qualifiers was announced, at that point, they would also go do like the little interview with Alicia off stage. The rumor of this being what was going to happen started swirling the first week of rehearsals, which were closed, so we didn't have any confirmation going on. Then when we got to Monday to watch the first dress rehearsal of Semi 2, that's when we saw it ran through. That's the only time it was ran through, because before the second dress rehearsal for Semi 1, at that point, it was announced, well, prior to that, we got an email saying that they had scrapped the plan. We don't know if it'll be coming back next year, but it was scrapped for this year. Final halves divisions. Normally, we would see the drawings of which half each act would perform in, kind of during the qualifiers press conference. This year, it was moved over to an individual video for each artist on TikTok Live. I don't have it because I couldn't find it. I was looking around to see if I could locate it. Unfortunately, could not. So no video footage for this. When the lots were all drawn, a number of fan favorites, and also the bookies' favorites, had pulled the first half. So France, Spain, Sweden, Finland, Austria, all had pulled the first half in the final. I have no idea how they managed to come up with a compelling running order with what had happened there. I do not envy anyone who had to come up with that running order after that. Polish national final rigged. This is a rumor from people concerning the results of the Polish national final Supie Serce Europi Wyborami hit na Eurowizję. Or in English, the heart of Europe beats here. We choose the hit for Eurovision. Gosh, that sounds like the title of like an anime. Why does that sound like the title of an isekai anime? But okay, Poland, go off. This all started because fan favorite Gladiator by Jan had won with the public vote, while the jury had pushed it back to 4th. Meanwhile, the jury favored Blanco solo, and when you combine the points together, Solo had 3 more points than Gladiator did, and Solo went on to represent Poland at Eurovision. There was also the fact that TVP had an article on their site with a timestamp prior to when the national final show began, saying that Blanca had won. And to dispel the whole thing with the article being posted before the show occurred, a lot of newspapers will actually write articles ahead of time. So they probably had an article written for each song in the national final. If it won, just plug and play, move around some numbers a little bit and post it. If it was saved prior to the show happening, which makes sense, they probably just updated it with the information, and at that point, press send. It's how a lot of newspapers have been doing things for a long time, and how a lot of, websites have been doing things for a long time. It's so that you can get the information out as quickly as possible. I know it's a spicy take, but I don't believe this one. Gladiator, the song by Jan that finished in 2nd place at the Polish national final. It was a televote winner, but only came 4th to the jury, so when the totals were combined, it was 3 points behind Blanca. Booty, another song from the Polish national final. Booty by Elena tells the touching story of a woman so thick that men cannot resist her. Her booty is a siren song calling men to their adulterous doom. I unironically love this song, and I think with the right rap feature, it could be a huge hit globally. But alas, it only came last with both the jury and the televote, and last overall, with 2 points. But Elena has won my heart, and so has her booty. 4 points to Cyprus. Someone call Watch Mojo. We need to update the top 10 anime betrayals list. So I mentioned I'm on Eurovision fam a little bit ago. I feel like I just need to insert this clip from the final for you all.
Oh my god! What? Oh my god! What the hell happened? Is he mad? Greece is pissed off! Greece is upset! Greece said, bump y'all! Greece said, you can lick my toes!
Greece's jury only gave Cyprus 4 points. Cyprus can only depend on the Greek jury to give them, 12 points, and yet this year only 4. The Televote did not make the same betrayal, though. They handed over their expected 12 points. Gustaph 7th. Our hat-loving Eurovision Uncle Gustaph placed 7th in the final of Eurovision, despite many fans, including myself, certain he wouldn't qualify for the final when he was first selected. But I admit I was wrong. And now, as far as I'm concerned, Because of You is the greatest Pride anthem ever written, and it's going to be on my rotation heavily this June. Seriously, have a cocktail on a patio at brunch, and this song it hits different. It's when you start to understand it. It's my biggest grow of the year, guys. Absolutely. Anyways, this is also the second best result from the Flemish broadcaster at Eurovision ever. Belgium has 2 broadcasters who switch their song every other year to send to Eurovision. He was even invited and performed at Birmingham Pride. Black Eyed Peas at Sanremo. Basically, Sanremo will invite artists to come on and do interval acts and everything. And this year they invited the Black Eyed Peas, who gave an interview and told us all that they love spaghetti. I love spaghetti too. Can't say anything, but hey, that's what happens. Blanco trashes the stage at Sanremo. So Blanco, who represented Italy last year along with Mahmoud, on home soil at Eurovision 2022 with their song Brividi, and he did this wonderful stage entrance. I think about nonstop. It lives in my head rent-free. Had some technical issues at Sanremo this year while he was performing his song L'Isola della Rose. So basically what happened is he said he had some in-ear problems, got frustrated, and trashed the stage. From what I understand and what I've read online, he did give a warning to Amadeus. That's the guy who hosts Sanremo and kind of puts it all together. Told him that he was going to mess up the stage a little bit, which, okay, cool. Whatever. But he ended up, kicking over some roses, ripping up the backing, the back flowers that the stage was set up with, grabbing a hold of his musicians, and just really frustrated, kind of like a tantrum sort of a situation. It did cause controversy in Italy, and he did apologize for this mistake as well. Grace Kelly. Mae Muller, who represented the United Kingdom at Eurovision in 2023, was a little girl from the Grace Kelly music video. So while we were trying to figure out who is going to be representing, the United Kingdom this year, maybe we should have gone back and said, who was a host of Eurovision 2022? Mika. He was the hint all along, guys. Think about it. Rina, Sawayama, rumors. When we were all speculating and trying to guess who it would be who would be representing the United Kingdom at Eurovision 2023, one of the names that kept popping up for guesses was Rina Sawayama. People saw that she had no shows between March and May, and that there was a large banner of her featured at the BBC radio headquarters. She had also released a song after September that was less than 3 minutes long, and people were going, it's gotta be Rina, right? It's gotta be Rina. She, of course, played along with these rumors in a way that I would have totally done as well if I were her. The singer played around with these rumors on TikTok. She stitched a video from a fan speculating it was going to be her who would represent the UK, and even posted a reply to a comment speculating it was going to be her dancing to the song Euphoria. Play along with the speculations. So that's it, guys. That is part 2 of my Eurovision 2023 Iceberg Explained video completed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, leave me a little comment, and subscribe, because guess what, guys? Those all really help me out. And if you're enjoying the content, you want to subscribe so you don't miss any more. Thank you, everyone, for your positive responses with video 1 of this series. I'm so glad that you all enjoyed it. And this one's a bit longer, so I hope you stuck around to the end. I'll be back again soon with part 3, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.